Good morning, everyone. December the 9th, early in the morning, out here on the West Coast of the United States. I'll be heading back to Pennsylvania, my home, and prepping for the next trip to Ukraine coming up after Christmas. As you know, we've been following very closely the fall of Syria, the departure of Assad, not only how that affects Middle East, global policy, global activities. We've covered that very intensively and will continue to do so because I personally believe all of these wars, this instability, and what is happening on our globe is connected. Now, I want to focus on Ukraine this morning, facts only, and I specifically want to share with you the words of Volodymyr Zelenskyy. We've had many new subscribers, many new people join us, find us, discover us over the last few weeks, and I always try to tell on these facts only video, just facts, not my opinion, not a hearsay, not experience, not an interview and ask somebody else's opinion, just a fact. We know that Volodymyr Zelenskyy and Macron and Donald Trump met over the weekend during the reopening of the Notre Dame Cathedral there in Paris. There has been many reports on what was stated. How did the conversations go between Macron and Zelenskyy? How did the conversations go between Zelenskyy and Trump? We even saw the media want to run with it and be speckle and just demoralize Volodymyr Zelenskyy for wearing his sweatshirt and his Ukrainian insignia there that he wears every day to stand in solidarity with his troops who were fighting on the front line. But regardless, he stood strong. And if you ever want to know what he said, isn't it better just to have him say it? Today, I will share with you Volodymyr Zelenskyy himself stating his position, not a media analysis, not some journalist saying, well, this is what I heard, but what Zelenskyy said. Before we get into that, and I will show you that in just a minute or two, we know that Syria has fallen. We know that there continues to be ongoing after effects of that, and we will continue to see it. Listen, that region will not just stabilize. Syria will not just stabilize on the global stage. There will be still a lot of players with their fingers in the pies there to try to get a hold on that place because it is so vitally important. All of the factions, as I was sharing with you, that were fighting together will now have to begin to determine who's going to have their rank on the pecking order and be able to work with the global community. We shall see. Now, the question is, does the fall of Syria affect Ukraine? 100% yes, it does. Do we know how the fall of Syria will affect Ukraine? No, we do not. We can speculate. Well, more Russian soldiers are coming back, more planes, more naval power, more heavy equipment, more rockets, whatever it may be, will be rotating back. We know that Russia lost a lot of equipment there in Syria. They abandoned a lot of equipment, but they were able to pull out a lot of equipment and soldiers. We shall see how that unfolds, and time will tell. There are some facts that we can look at right now, though. The Russian economy is struggling. The exchange rate between the ruble and the dollar is in a very poor position for the Russians, and many reports coming out today that says the pressure still needs to be ramped up on Russia economically. Completely agree with that. Sanctions and sanctioning power, but I stand by what I said. Sanctions will never win this war. Only military defeat will win this war and an implosion of the Kremlin war machine. Just as Assad fell, Vladimir Putin needs to fall. That's how true victory will come. And only at that point in time will true victory come. We do have facts right now that 90% of oil, crude oil exports, 90% just coming out today, this information, are being exported to two main nations, India and China, and they are paying for the oil. You may say, well, they're buying it at a discounted value. I understand that, but they are buying it, and Russia has plenty of it, and they have through the ghost fleets and through direct transports. Let's be honest, guys. They are shipping oil to the two most populous nations on the planet. The war machine rolling still has money flowing. We need to work on that. I can also report to you that year over year, looking at the month of November of 2024 versus November of 2023, Russia has fired 4 times more missile and drone combinations year over year. For example, It was the number 6,000. So in the fall of 2023, the number was 1,500 missile and drone combinations were fired at Ukraine. November 2024, 6,000. It's a 4x gain combination of missiles and Shaheeds and drones that are being fired at Ukraine. In fact, we have a 3x gain over just the summer of 2024 of rockets and drones being fired at Ukraine. Now, guys, I want to get to the last thing. The last thing is Volodymyr Zelenskyy telling the truth. Volodymyr Zelenskyy telling the truth. If you want to know how he views the communications with Donald Trump, you keep hearing, oh, Ukraine's they want to go to ceasefire. They want to go to ceasefire and freeze. Guys, don't listen to any of that. Ukraine wants to save lives. That is it. But if you want to know where Ukraine stands, listen to Volodymyr Zelenskyy. I have it here translated for you in English.
According to some reports, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump may want to freeze the conflict. Additionally, yesterday he stated that Ukraine allegedly agreed to sign a security agreement. When we discuss a frozen conflict between us, we have talked about it. I said that we, more than anyone else in the world, want the war to end. And of course, ending the war diplomatically will save more lives, which we want. However, I emphasize to both President Macron and President Trump that, first and foremost, Putin does not want this war to end. Therefore, he must be forced, and this can only happen if Ukraine is strong. Ukraine's strength in the face of diplomacy lies on the battlefield. A strong army, weapon packages, long-range systems like ATACMS, Taurus, Storm Shadow, and Scalp. All of these are crucial for us. It's crucial, and yes, strictly for military purposes, we emphasize this. Besides security guarantees, we can't join NATO now, but an invitation is possible. We need these security guarantees, and that's what we've been saying. This is how I frame our view on, say, a NATO invitation. It's tricky that you're not speaking with the president. I plan to call President Biden soon if he's available to discuss NATO invitation. As the current U.S. president, his stance is crucial. There's no point debating this further. As for President Trump, since he's not in the White House yet, it's not up to him. I'd like to thank the U.S. and Biden for their bipartisan support. The latest package of $988 million is significant and crucial for us. We discussed what might happen if there's a pause while Ukraine isn't in NATO. Even with an invitation, if we're not in NATO during this time, who guarantees our security?
So there you have it, guys. That is Zelenskyy talking. He talks directly about his conversations with Trump. He talks about his conversations with Macron. He talks about, I need to call Joseph Biden. This is very difficult for me to be talking with Trump, but he's actually just the president-elect, and it's only December the 9th. We have all the way until January the 20th. I need to communicate with Biden. I'm going to call him about NATO. I understand. Did you hear it? We're not coming into NATO. That came directly out of Zelenskyy's mouth. But maybe we can get an invitation. Maybe Western nations could come in and support us and defend us. He goes on to talk about later in that conversation is sitting there with Ukrainian leaders and Yermak sitting there. But the big thing is this. He says we're only going to get Putin into a place of true negotiations, true peace, guaranteed secure peace through strength. We need weapons. We need the scalps. We need the Tauruses, the Storm Shadows, the ATACMS. We need to be in a place of position, in a position of strength. So guys, if you are wondering what Zelenskyy is actually thinking, if you are wondering what was the real conversation between Donald Trump and Zelenskyy in Paris, there you have it, directly from the mouth of Volodymyr Zelenskyy. What will happen next? I don't know. Nobody knows. But I will tell you this. Ukraine is fighting for their existence. They're fighting for their freedom. They're fighting for their future. And they know and they understand, as Zelenskyy and many other Ukrainians have said, just help us. We know how to defeat Putin. Just help us. I will tell you this, the fall of Syria brought encouragement to Ukraine. As I'm closing out this video, please hear that. The fall of Syria encouraged Ukraine. That dictatorship of Assad that had been in for 53 years is destroyed. It brought hope that the same thing can happen against the dictatorship. Yes, the dictatorship of Vladimir Putin, his partnership with Kim Jong-un, Iran, Belarus, and the list goes on. They can fall too, as Ukraine is fighting for what is right. And we will continue to do that. Thank you. I hope this video was enlightening for you, encouraging, fact sharing. Thank you for your support. Thank you for everything that you do. Until victory, we will be here and even beyond. Thank you for subscribing, liking, commenting, all those other things. We'll be back at you later.